Michelle Gibbs from MG Art Class, and in this series we're going to explore some colour mixing. So what I'm going to do is show you some basic colours that I use in my palette, and then we're going to mix those with some earth tones and a ivory black, just to kind of see what colours that we can come up with. So let's get going, and I hope you enjoy the series. Today we're going to look at Ultramarine Blue. So Ultramarine Blue is one of my favourites of all the blues, and I probably use this in most of my paintings. So it's a really great blue because it's very subtle, so it doesn't kind of steal the show as such. It's transparent, so it works really well in glazes, and it can subtly change a colour mix as well. So cerulean blue is one of the colours that we're going to look at, and we're going to mix it with the earth tones to see what we can come up with. So when we mix the titanium white with the ultramarine blue, you can start to see the violet undertone there, particularly in comparison to the cerulean blue, which is more towards the green. So you can see how this is would make a really great violet mixed with a little bit of the red. Blue with the ivory black. Just add that in there. Now we're really going to have to use our white to be able to bring out the colour, because obviously this cerulean blue is quite a bit darker. But the beauty with that, as opposed to using black on its own, is you're giving the black a bit of colour, which is really nice. So if we just add a bit of white to the mix there. So again, this beautiful blue grey, and we can see that it's much warmer than the cerulean blue there. So with the burnt umber. Now these two actually make a really great black, and I quite often use the burnt umber and the ultramarine blue to achieve some of my really dark areas, instead of just using black. So that makes a really beautiful rich black. So again, if we add a little bit of white to the mix, we can start to bring out the undertone of the colour. Again, you can see you get that really nice deep warm grey. So it's really nice warmth. So the burnt umber is a warm earth tone, and obviously the ultramarine is very warm, so it creates this really lovely grey here. So the ultramarine blue with the burnt sienna. It's almost like in between the black and a cool version of the burnt umber. So again, if we add a bit of white to that, and the white is naturally going to cool the colour down. So if you want to see it without adding white, because obviously the white does cool it, is you can just add a glaze. So just thin it down with a little bit of water. In fact, let's do that. So just adding a little bit of water to the mix. Just bringing it out a little bit there, so you can just see it a bit clearer. So you can really see what adding white does to it. It does change it quite a bit. And if we do that with these here, so hopefully you can catch that. So if we add the ultramarine blue to the raw sienna, little bit of white. Now this is a really lovely colour. Really nice blue, green, grey. And again, if we add a little bit of water, you can just bring that out a little bit. And then finally the yellow ochre. So obviously these are going to change slightly, depends on the consistency, depending on the amount of blue and earth tone that you add to it, but you get a general idea. It's really good to experiment with colour mixing. It's always interesting when I do these exercises with my students. Some people really enjoy the process of colour mixing, and some people get bored quite easily. I mean, I could just sit here for hours personally and just mixing up colours. I think it's really great to see what you can come up with, and it's fascinating. So there's not a huge difference between these two here. But yeah, so that's the Ultramarine Blue. Again, another colour that I keep in my palette and I find really useful. Again, adding it with the earth tones and obviously black, you can get some really beautiful greys in there as well. So my name is Michelle from MG Art Class. Please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more tips and techniques on acrylic painting.